All right, so this is going to be the beginning of page 2 of test 6. I'll throw the link up above here. So we just did part 1. This is going to be part 2 or page 2. I'm not going to be able to make it through the entire page because I do have to tutor soon, but I just wanted to get this last, one of my favorite problems done. We'll try to get it done quick, just in time. So we'll start with number 7 before we do my favorite problem. And number 7, as I kind of glance at it, it looks like it's just going to be another statistics problem. So whenever I see these types of problems, I'm always looking for the bias, right? Is it going to be which answer has the least biased sampling method? Or is the problem containing a biased sampling method, and I have to answer that down below? So let's look. They want to assess about converting an open field into a dog park. So I'm already going to be looking for bias, right? People that own dogs, etc. They surveyed a sample of 500 residents who own a dog. So, of course, these people are going to be much more likely to be in favor of a dog park than just the average person who might not have a dog. It showed the majority of those were in favor of a dog park. So we just go through our answers and we look for what's going to refute this very biased method, right? It shows the majority of city residents. That's not true. They only surveyed people with dogs. The survey should have included more residents who own dogs. That would make it even more biased. The survey should have consisted of people who did not own dogs. That's super biased. And it's biased because it is not representative of all city residents. Yeah. So we like this one. We have a biased method here, and we don't like it because of that. So we'll jump on to my favorite problem here. It already looks really interesting. We have a riser height, which is going to be the height of our step. And we have the depth of the step, the tread depth. We have this little equation down below, right? I see my H, I see my D. So two variable equation. If they gave me a height, I could solve for D. If they gave me D, I could solve for height. I look down below at part 1, and this one I'm going to go over pretty fast. Again, my equation is 2H plus D equals 25. They just want you to practice algebra here and solve for H looking at my answers. So H is going to equal 25 minus D, subtract the D over, and divide by 2. And it looks like it's probably going to be B for this one, right? So this one I'm not going to focus on too much because I got to finish this problem before I have to go. And again, if I glance at the top, this is going to be another kind of small part of the problem. We'll still try to solve it in time. So 18 is going to be asking some specifics here. So they say the tread depth must be at least 9 inches. So depth at least 9 inches. And then the riser height must be at least 5. So I just put height greater than or equal to 5. And then here's where we want to develop our inclinations. I look at my answers and I see that it is an inequality involving just H. So I'm cool with this, right? I'm cool with this and this. These two seem kind of off, but we'll figure that out. When they say this part here, right, I could plug that into my other equation and get another equation for H, right? I'll try to do it down below here. So if I plug that into my equation, I get 2H plus 9 is equal to 25. And then if I subtract that 9 over to the other side, I would get 2H is equal to, what is that, 416. And I get H is equal to 8. So, and remember, it's actually D is greater than or equal to 9. So what relationship is that? As this goes up, and I can kind of test it too, I can just throw in a 10. Then it's going to be 15 on the other side, and I'm going to get H equals 7.5. So actually, as depth increases, my height decreases. So it looks like the max I'm going to get here is H equals 8. So I see my 8. And I see that H is greater than or equal to 5. So they're just kind of developing a little H system or an inequality here for H. So again, C for this one, not too bad. We have a few minutes left, and I want to get to the main part of the problem here. So number 19, this will be our final one here. So they give us a lot of information. Let me scroll down for as much space, and then let me get rid of this stuff here. Okay. So I'll move this up here too, so we can see the equation real fast. They say that we have a total rise of 9 feet. So my total height is equal to 9 feet. Cool. And then also they say the riser height is between 7 and 8. Well, that's great. They already gave me so much information. So that is less than or equal to 8 and less than or equal to 7. So actually it's between. So no equal, right? This is just between 7 and 8. And let's see if they give us any other information. Odd number of steps. This is such odd information. They give me total height, odd number of steps, and my riser height. And they want to know which of the following must be the tread depth in like decimal, like specific answer. So take a second. What can we try here? And we always want to be extremely relative with our units. So most of the problem has been in inches, right? When I look at number 18, h was greater than 5, less than 8. When I look at this problem now, h is between 7 and 8 inches. So when I look at total height and it's in 9 feet, well, can't I just put that in inches? I don't think that's too crazy, right? So my total height's going to be times that. I think that's 108, right? Times 10 is 90, and then plus another 18, yeah. So this is going to be 108 inches. So are we seeing any connection here yet? Think about it. If I have a total riser height of 108 inches, and I know the individual riser height of each step is between 7 and 8, well, what could I try here, right? Imagine, you always want to imagine these boundaries as testers. So imagine if we tested our riser height of 7 with 108 inches. I'm just going to throw that in the calculator real quick. So 108 divided by 7, and I get 15.4. So right here, and we can try to analyze, what does 15.4 stand for? Well, when each step is 7 inches, and I'm allowed 108 inches, I would get, my units would be steps. I would have 15.4 steps here. And if I try it when my riser height is 8 inches, 108 divided by 8, I get 13.5 steps. So this is a hard problem because it's really hard to make these connections. And then another very odd piece of information is going to come in handy here. So the most amount of steps I could have, right? You always have to round down. I can't have 15.4 steps, but I could have 15 steps. I can't have 13.5 steps, but I have to go this way, right? The inequality is leading me this way towards my h. So the least steps I could have is 14. The most I could have is 15. And we know there's an odd number of steps. We know there's 15 steps. So now I can do, what is my actual riser height? So I know it's 108 divided by 15 steps. And I get 7.2 for my riser height. So again, 15, I did 108 divided by that. I get 7.2. I throw that in my equation. I got another minute here. Let's just do this math real quick. I jump back to my initial equation, and we get 2 times 7.2 from this equation over here, and I should get 14.4, and then plus d is equal to 25. If I subtract that over, I think I get 10.6 for this one, right? Yes. So 10.6 for D. This is one of my favorite problems. I think it's one of my favorite because the information is so odd. They're giving you odd number of steps, total riser heights. I have tread depths. This one is a great problem to practice, work through, and get a fundamental understanding. I'm going to stop here, and I'll finish the rest of this page and the next page tomorrow.